Today we're going to talk about one of the surest signs that you're healthy, both as a human and as a Christian. Hey, I'm Father Mark Mary with Franciscan Friars of the Renewal, and this is Ascension Presents. What is your ability to ask for forgiveness? Your ability to ask for forgiveness. If you're good at this, it doesn't guarantee that you're healthy as a human. But if you're not good at it, something probably does need to grow and to develop. And two maybe little short stories to confirm this. I've had an opportunity to be in close contact with a couple of human beings who are kind of known for their holiness, their saintliness, their development and their maturity in general. And one of them was a priest I lived with. He was a busy priest with a lot of people calling him. So he had a line that was like his line. But a lot of times I was in a house with like a lot of young brothers, and they weren't always attentive and aware. And sometimes they like were disrespectful, and they would use the line without like checking in first. And so this priest is on one of his spiritual direction calls, and then somebody butts in and starts like dialing a number, something like that. And the priest kind of like reacted strongly. Like he had a pretty strong like negative reaction towards the brother interrupting this sensitive conversation, and it happens so many times. And so the next morning we have office of readings, which is at like 6 a.m, and the brothers are there. And the priest before office of readings says, "Hey, brothers, someone came on the phone last night. I don't know who it was. I reacted in a way that was like too strong. I just want you to know, like, I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry I did that." But what happened is not everyone who lived in the house was at office of readings. And so then we had like an hour later, we had morning prayer. And again, right after morning prayer before mass, when there's some other brothers there, making sure he didn't miss anybody, he made the same apology again. And this was an elder brother. This is somebody who deserved our respect and our reverence, was sort of like a grandpa figure. But he was so like holy and also healthy and committed to communion and so humble. Like he was willing to come and to ask for forgiveness multiple times. Another one was a priest who was one of the founders of our community, who was elderly, and a couple of us towards the end of his life had the job of helping to take care of him. And his life was difficult, and everything was hard. And so sometimes he'd like lose his patience, and he'd get kind of a little bit snappy with the brothers taking care of him. But every night, at the end of the night, like before he would go to sleep, he would have like the most sincere, first of all, like, "Brothers, just thank you so much for taking care of me. Thank you so much." And the most sincere sort of word of gratitude and sincere apology. "And brothers, I know I lost my temper and I'm impatient and you guys are just so good and I'm so sorry." And it just really struck again, like, I really think this is one of the surest, not the only sign, not a total like infallible sign, but one of the surest signs of our maturity as a human being, as a Christian, is our ability to ask for forgiveness. To ask for forgiveness is going to involve like engaging kind of an uncomfortable conversation, a degree of conflict and of intimacy in which you are taking the lower place. And so this is just a really good sign of like your health as a human being, as in like your self-possession, a certain degree of confidence, your relationship to conflict, that you're not just like a total like avoidant, you're not just running away. And also it's a good sign of your ability to recognize yourself making a mistake. Some people in their own humanity like really struggle to accept or to see that they are the ones at fault in a certain situation. And I think a little bit of like meekness is an ability to be humble, to take the lowest place, but it comes from like a fullness. Jesus' meekness comes from the fullness of his identity. Same with the ability to enter into like the lowest place, even as a human being, to come to ask for forgiveness, to enter into a place of conflict. Like to come and to become low like that, it actually requires a certain degree of health, of self-possession, of confidence, of understanding like your identity, of being rooted. And so being able to do this is a really good sign of your health as a human being. If you just can't do it, if you get really, 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 really anxious, if you always avoid it, if you never see yourself as being wrong, it's a good sign that something's a little bit off. And that's something to reflect on and to look at. And of course, this is just a great sign as well of like health of your soul as a Christian. Being able to be humble, being able to be meek are both like really, really important foundational Christian virtues. Being able to just understand and to embrace like, I'm a sinner. I'm a person who makes mistakes. Being able to accept that. Again, it's a human thing. It's also a Christian thing. And also I think being able to ask for forgiveness, it also shows a sign of being committed to like communion. It's just so much easier to be like, okay, that's their problem, whatever, they need to get over it. Or maybe like what I did, it wasn't that bad. Like they're overreacting. But again, to come and to ask for forgiveness, to take the lower place, to intentionally enter into that uncomfortable conversation. Like if we're doing it at the service of communion, like I care about my brother, I care about my sister, I care about their experience, and I want to be in right relationship with them, that's a great sign of the work of grace, a great sign that the Holy Spirit is at work. So I'm going to invite you just to reflect on this a little bit, to put it into practice if you need to put it into practice with God's help. Thanks so much for joining me. I look forward to continuing this journey with you again tomorrow. That's not what we say here. Poco a poco, little by little, vamos a llegar. Bye, friends. Hope you liked my sweatshirt.